Hello, my name is Abby, and I really don't have any idea what to do. This is one of my cats, Rover. I should probably let her go back to sleep, but... Aw. Aren't you tired? Aw. Good, such a good little lady here. Up and her sister's coming too. But yeah, honestly, this is just gonna be completely random ass video. I have no intention for this to go really anywhere, to be honest. You're literally just gonna sit here and listen to me ramble about my novels, both of them along the Illuminary shore, and the current sapphic novel that I'm in the middle of plotting. So if you're not interested in hearing or just a complete ramble of something you probably have no idea about, I suggest you probably leave. So yeah, I'm just gonna be rambling for like 10 minutes straight while I try to plot out this thing. So, yeah. So I'm currently plotting out the stuff for not along the Lunar Shore, the Sapphic novel. I'm planning to do, what I'm currently doing is planning to have like a painter, and she's going to end up with this duchess who, like, it's a duchess who has a child. She's a widow for 4 years now. Her husband died from poisoning when she was 28. And then, so she ended up in, like, so she ended up, like, in the middle of, scheme, like, she's a noble, as you can see, I wrote duchess. So she ended up being a thingy, like so she's the sole duchess of house something, because I do not have a name for it yet. And the current system right now is life crystal, not life crystal, I mean like a crystal system like Genshin. Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to get all of the things down. But, so she's gonna end up, so the Duchess, so there's 9 crystals in total that you can get. Hold on, let me find the page currently. I got a few of them already. There is life, which creates, well, gives life to things. You can't really create life unless it's under specific circumstances, so it's just gonna be giving life. Plant, you can control and create plants, simple as that. Control and morph rocks, or earth, whatever. Water, control and create, same thing, control and create, control and create. Now, decay or slash death is interesting because what it does, I'm gonna change this one, but you can give death to things, which means like decay it. So you can decay parts of it and make it like wear down, but only stuff that is alive. So arguably these two could be seen as the weakest, but they also have very unique applications. And then you also have the standard wind and lightning. Yeah, and also to make it interesting, I decided to make it so crystal powers can be combined. So each of these can have like a combination thing that can happen. Like that. And also the crystals can be destroyed, but only if the power of 9 of them are used to like 1. So you would need all of these powers being pushed into 1 to be able to even destroy it. And to even get the crystals in the first place, it's completely random. Your 5-year-old could get it one day, or your great-grandma could get it when they're 92. There is no in between. Hold on, let's give this one another petting break. She's very needy. Usually. Sometimes her sister wants cuddles, and then she sleeps in my lap. So, going back to this, the first thing is just... honestly, it's just... the first chapter of this, I'm planning it for the inciting incident, or maybe it might be in the second one, but for a sneak peek, the painter will end up trying to steal from the Duchess because she's a thief and incredibly poor. Well, not like poor, she's not like poor, but like, she has people she needs to support, mainly family and that kind of stuff. And that she also gives to the local orphanage, which it from Duchess. Ow. Hey. Getting back to this once again. So for a sneak peek of giving life, the painter will give life to, say, a drawing, as that's one of the applications of a life crystal, is giving life. But it only really works, I'd say, with animals and plants. With plants, an even less degree, because it just stays there. She can't really create it, as she needs, like, ink itself for it to be able to work. But I think I'm gonna do, like, to a cat, so it can sneak around, and I guess a lemur, so it can open stuff, since they're much smaller than, say, traditional monkeys. Monkeys that can, Honestly, just writing at the same time as holding my phone is really hard to do, so I'm just gonna do a little segment here where I'm just rambling about what I plan for it to be. So, I do not have a title for it yet, but I've had the idea for quite a while now. So, what I plan it, the main plot to be, is the painter and the Duchess meet. The Duchess ends up, catching the painter thief in the act, and threatens to, dismantle her whole career, have her arrested, put in jail, because the painter has stole from numerous other nobles too. And I forgot to add, the Duchess herself has a crystal, but for nature, so she controls plants. It'll be referenced earlier in the beginning as like a small hint, because she has a garden, and majority of the plants she created herself and stuff. I should also add that each of the crystals itself has their corresponding god, which chooses who gets the crystal. And so, since there isn't really set requirements, their will is just like, You can I'm gonna make it also based on technically personality too, on who gets it, because I think that'd be interesting, but also, it's not always like the same personality type always gets it. There are some people who are who have the same type of personality but different drives or that kind of stuff, so to be unexpected at times. But honestly, I also don't know whether to make this thing a duology or a standalone. For now, since I'm keeping it as a standalone, I think. So this would be just like a complete standalone story in itself. I do plan to maybe write something in... I probably will eventually also write something in that universe, since I like the magic system a lot. And I think it'll allow me to do more than what I'm doing now. No. Since, yeah. Back to it. My actual debut is planning to be the novel called Along the Luminary Shore. It is a planned 5-book series that has a polyromance between an elf, a siren, and a human. Yeah, they're going around trying to stop this cult that has a life-stealing artifact. Like, it can just steal. It can take life, and it can also transfer it. The goal of the cult right now is unknown, since that'll be revealed in the novel later on. But I don't want to spoil it too far yet, since it's going to be a big part of the novel later on. Not sure whether to reveal it in 3 or at the end, at 2 or at the end of 1. I think I'll probably reveal it at the end of book 1, because I'd find it more interesting and stuff. But, how do I say this? But this thing is honestly my one pride and joy right now, because I've already have like I almost have 30,000 words in, and I plan for it to probably be around 140k, and I also plan on specifically self-publishing it, because from what I see now, from a lot of people online, they say you can't really query a long series, especially if it's gonna be debut, especially in like a planned 5-book series, when everything is trilogies now. It's gonna be hard. Sure, there's things like Fourth Wing and stuff, but even then, that's because it's romantasy and it's very popular. And the chances of it being picked up for me is like less than 1%. Even worse now that it's like I'm planning to do a novel that's less than a novel that is more than a trilogy. So self-publishing honestly will be much better for me, since I also have full creative direction and choice of covers. Now, my standalone, I actually do plan on querying, because I think that'd be better overall for me, because as I'm very, I just do not have my own money for, say, another cover or professional editing, and I think it would be also good to try out querying. And if it doesn't work out and I don't get picked up by an agent or a small publisher, if that doesn't work, I'm still gonna publish it anyway. I'm just gonna wait, or I'm gonna wait and try to make my own cover, and then I'll do the editing myself. Either way, I will still publish it, whether it gets picked up or not, the standalone itself, because I really like that story right now, so it's gonna be published. Hey, you've been petting her this entire time. You will see my cats a lot if I start doing reading vlogs, because they always stay with me. So yeah, back to more rambling of Along the Illuminary Shore. So the magic system of Along the Illuminary Shore is actually much more standard than, say, the Sapphic Painter novel. Well, Heist Painter novel. It's really just a set of, like, every person can technically learn magic, though some have more potential than others, and there are ways to also, like, grow your magic itself. It's based on, like, a thing of, like, storage and reserves. You can run out of magic, and then after that you can't really use spells. After you run out of magic and, like, say, your reserves or your storage, it is, like, you will then start to use your own energy, and after that, you have to know when to stop. And there's 2 types of magic, well, technically 3, I haven't set up the 3rd one yet, but there's standard magic and elemental magic. Elemental magic is standard stuff like earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, that kind of stuff, and standard magic is the other stuff like telepathy, teleportation, levitation, and all those, like, crazy spells like sigils, glyphs, magic blasts, and orbs, shields, like that kind of stuff. Now, elemental magic, you use the element itself, and elemental magic, there are people, certain tribes of people or groups have more connection to them. Like, for me, in the southern continent of Karith, I think that's what you call it, there's a dragon tribe, and they are obviously connected to a lot of the members, even though they are human, and humans don't technically have that much elemental magic. Since they have been training, raising dragons, have a bunch of the connections to dragons itself, they are very adept in the fire element. As well, I'd say earth, because they also live in, like, a more sandy area. Not really sand, but I think I might change it to a more mountainous area. Because, dragons living in the desert, there's no food. So, I don't think that will exactly work. And also, sirens have connection to water. Well, sirens and mermaids, I put them both together as in there. Sirens and mermaids are the same, not really the same, but, like, subspecies of each other and stuff, so yeah, they're connected to water magic. I have a race called avians, which are bird people with wings on their backs, and they are connected to wind magic, obviously. Elves in particular, high elves are standard magic. They do not have elemental magic unless in very specific circumstances. And then you have nature/wood elves, not sure which one to use, but they are connected to nature magic. And there is and for the 3rd group of magic, I'm putting it as fiery magic, or primal magic, or ancient. One of the 3. I think I might search it to fiery magic, but they live way down south, and they are completely separate. They are like a group of, like, they are like a very ancient race, race and stuff. They are the most magical, even more than elves. Like, they live on an island, completely secluded from the rest of the known world, or like the rest of the continents. They have a god that protects them, specifically only them. While there are different gods for each race that, like, focus on them specifically, like the avians have theirs, the elves have them, sirens have theirs, and humans have theirs. They each have their own pantheon. Well, not pantheon, but, like, each have their own gods that they specifically worship. Sometimes other species or races worship them, but it's rare. And then you have the ones, like, of the concepts, the gods of certain concepts, which, like, everybody worships, like Zyre, and some other one I still don't have a name for him. but there is one, there for humans, like specifically sailors, I added for like a little world building. There's a god called Hazelis, which is a more minor deity. She is someone who protects sailors in navigation. So like, they pray to her and give her offerings for safe travels and be safe from sirens and stuff. Yeah, and also funny enough, originally I'm not sure if I still have it on my YouTube bio actually, but the original title for Along the Luminary Shore was Bonds of Origin, but I realized I wanted to change it because one, it sounded dumb, and now that I think about it now, and that if I wanted to change it, it'd be like, I'd have to do something like Bonds of Fracture, Bonds of End something, I don't know, Bonds of Creation, Bonds of that twist, I don't know. Something that I would have to keep the first letter. And I realized I did not want to do that, so I completely scrapped the entire title, changed it to Along the Luminary Shore, which is more of a reference of how they all agree to start their journey, which is like, because they literally meet all on, well, the three of them meet on a beach. For the first main character, the elf Viria, and the human Atlas, they meet prior to the beach thing, but they meet the final main character, Nerissa, at the beach cove thing where she attacks them, and yeah. But I mean, of course, there wouldn't be a story if she killed them, so yeah. They eventually all agreed to meet up then along the beach, like during a night, and they work things out, and then they all agree to go after the cult thing. Atlas is the one to actually bring it up first. He's the main driver of the plot for now, because he's the one who's going after them. Nerissa had her pod taken from her pod's life force taken because of the artifact. Viria is there because, why not? Because she's just there at the right place at the right time. She's like, she has two dragons, a wyvern, an ice wyvern named Nylani, and a purple dragon who breathes fire named Umbra. Because dragons itself, I think it's funny that not many really mention that since dragons are so big, they have to eat a lot, which means if you are a dragon rider, it would cost a shit ton to keep them fed. So, especially if they don't hunt very often. And so I like to put that in my novel, just like a little gag, saying that the reason why Viria travels a lot is because she constantly needs to find places to get money so she can feed her dragons. And also because she doesn't want a regular standard job. Because she's already done that, it's part of her past, of like her previous occupation. I'm not gonna say it here because that is a spoiler. I will hint to what it is. More of a backstory, and I don't want to really show it off just yet. So to finish this up, I'm probably gonna like go on for like a minute, for like 3 minutes more maybe, I don't know. But honestly, the novel itself, I plan to focus more on the world building and the cult and the journey it gets together and the relationships between the characters. I'd say it's a mix between plot and that kind of stuff. Plot and character driven, if that's what you're wondering. It's also multi-POV. Each of the characters have its own POV. It's constantly switching. I mean, each chapter will each have its own POV, so you won't have to worry about mid-chapter POV switches, since that's something I can't stand. I can't really stand in novels, but it's also all written in third-person limited POV, so... and funny enough, I actually was originally gonna just write everything as Viria's POV, which is the elf, but I realized it wouldn't work, especially since it was long. This is planned to be a long series. It just wouldn't work at all and would turn out to be extremely boring. So for the sake of the story, I switched it to multi-POV. The planned release date for it is hopefully nearing the end of July, but I might push it towards August if things don't really go correctly for me, especially with the nearing TikTok ban. That's where I have my main platform. The reason why I went to YouTube is because of the whole ban thing, as I live in the US. So, promotion's gonna be a bit hard since I do not like the format of Instagram, really. Reels itself is kind of tough to do, and I just don't really like it. It's hard to connect with more people on Instagram than, say, TikTok. I heard the whole lemonade thing, but But that's enough ranting about a little ranting about TikTok for now. I'm getting back to the novel. So I'm gonna talk about the painter thing right now since I'm running out of ideas. So the main overall plot for the painter novel, very yeah, but yeah, for Along the Illuminary Shore is just really something I've had so much fun writing right now. And I even plan to honestly take an entire year off of school since I'm graduating in about 5 months' time from high school. I am currently a high school senior. I will take an entire year off so I can work on both of these novels, and because I plan to move back upstate since I currently live in the deep south and since I write queer novels. I do not really want to stay here since there's not really many events I can really do this at, unless I want to go to a major city. But then even then, events for those are expensive to get a booth at. There are a bunch of smaller literary festivals back in my home state where I was actually born in, so I'm gonna have to move back up there with my other parent so I can have better sales and stuff. Also because my friends live there. I moved down here back in July, and like I don't really like it. But overall, being an author so far, it's embarrassing to confess this, but I actually failed my creative writing class last year. Last year in my old high school, I completely bombed it. Every quarter I did not do well on. I cannot get into writing. I cannot get it past. I lost any drive for like motivation for literature and everything. But ever since now, I've just been able to calm my mind, gotten back on medication for anxiety and stuff, and also some other few life events. I've gained back my old passion for writing again, and I'm moving towards publishing. So I actually end it here for now, so see you in the next video.